up in the Reinhardt section of Philadelphia. He was 35 years old, and I loved my son. My son is not here, so when they killed my son, they killed a relationship that cannot go on because he's no longer to participate in that relationship. If it was one thing in this 2 years experience that I have that I would like to bring as a solution, because we all know what the problem is. We talk about how those who are participating in a criminal enterprise, how unintelligent they are. We have to rethink that, because if they are taking over our streets, causing this murder and mayhem, and they are getting away with it, who is the intelligent one? We be in these ivory towers, and we making decisions of what's going to take place at 17th and Dolphin, and never get out that ivory tower to go down to 17th and Dolphin to speak to the people we say we want to help. Also, we working in these silos. The DA is here, the police commissioner is here, the mayor is here, the managing director is there, city council is there. If we so intelligent, why can't we put our differences aside, go in a room, even if it takes 2 or 3 days, and not on Zoom, go in a room for 2 or 3 days and use our intellect to come out of there with some practical and applicable solutions. If we are so intelligent and they so dumb, how come we sitting here today trying to figure out how to stop them from taking over our community? So I would say this to anybody that's listening: we have to get together and we have to work together. Nobody had all the answers, but if we come together and work together, I bet you $1 to a donut we'll come out of there with some practical methodology on how to stop this crime, because we suffering. When I heard the other day about that 15-year-old getting killed, or that young man that got killed who was coming home from Burger King, every time I hear that, it touches my spirit. And we have to stop this, man, because if we have some humanity about us, we're going to put our differences aside and work so that won't be another family that have to get that call and say, come to the hospital, and the doctor come out of the room and say there's nothing we can do. And then you see the hysterical that goes along with being the recipient of that emotional disturbance. So I say to us as the community, let's get together, not on Zoom, let's get together in the room. We can do safe distancing, we can use our masks, and we can come in these rooms and come out with something that makes sense. Thank you.
Mr. Crawford, let's go in the room. I'm up for it. We have 2 more speakers before we entertain questions. Last but not least, but we did have to make sure that not just government, but everybody had a chance to speak here. Sheriff Bilal.
Good afternoon. Let me say this, and I'm not most popular when I say things like this. This is a city emergency. This is a state emergency. We know what the problem is. We know what the problem is. But let me say to those that are out here doing it, you gotta out today. There are programs, resources, organizations that are willing to help you step out of your life of killing people. But after the day, everything that we got to come together to get you out of our neighborhoods, to get you off our streets for killing our kids, hurting our children, letting our families cry, we will use it.
That's right.
We will use it. Every bit of it. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Let me repeat that. Come closer. We are sick and tired of being sick and tired. So you gotta out today. Get out. You want out of your life of crime? Get out of it. There's too many programs out here to help you. But if you think you want to keep doing this, today, it's over. Because every resource, every organization, every law enforcement institution is not playing another minute. You're going to stop this in our city. You're going to stop this on our streets. And we're going to take everything that we can to come at you.
That's right.
Oh, you ain't never heard the sheriff talk like that. Because the sheriff is involved now. So I will use the resources in my sheriff's office to collaborate with every law enforcement agency in this city. And if you want to keep doing it, we coming for you. Get out.
Get out. Get out.
Thank you, Sheriff. And now Senator Sharif Street.
You know, it is always difficult to be here talking about the death that happens in our community. You know, over the past few weeks, I came into office one day and one of my staff persons, and I'm not going to name which one, told me of a relative that was murdered. I came home and my wife told me a young man that she used to talk to at work was murdered. Friends, family members, everybody knows somebody that's died recently. It is a constant churn. I appreciate what folks in law enforcement do. And I appreciate them stepping up to do their part. And I appreciate what neighborhood activists are doing, and I appreciate them stepping up. We have groups like the Black Men's Community Council, and we have a number of groups, Nicetown CDC, that are doing the work it takes to organize people in the community. But as Councilmember Gaudier alluded to, when you have a mix, where as a Commonwealth we systemically underfund education, we said we were going to send kids to virtual school and did not guarantee initially that they even had internet for them to log into. We said we were going to send kids to virtual school in the spring, and initially, they got it now, initially didn't even guarantee that they were going to have internet to connect to the virtual school. We have a crisis, a health crisis, and in the midst of it, we still closing hospitals because the Commonwealth fails to make available the adequate resources to keep them available, because we shifted money away from high Medicaid, translated poor people hospitals, to other places. And we're about the only state in this entire part of the country where you can drive up your truck to a sporting goods store and buy weapons of war in an unlimited quantity. The only limit is how many that store has in stock, and they'll order more from you for you if you don't have them, and ship it to your house. There is something systemically wrong with what's going on. And yes, there is a level of personal responsibility, but it is not merely personal responsibility. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Commonwealth has failed to meet its obligation to, one, pass reasonable gun laws. You know, I'm from the hood. I grew up in North Philly, like Sister Brooks, right? And we used to always say if it was middle class white kids dying, they would do something about it. But we've had mass shootings of middle class white people consistently in this Commonwealth, in this country, does not do anything about gun violence. It baffles the mind, because we always assumed that when it reached the suburbs, that when kids were doing active shooting drills in upper middle class schools, the Commonwealth would finally adopt some gun laws, but it didn't happen. We had the largest shooting of a synagogue in the history of America in Pennsylvania, and we did nothing about gun laws. We have kids getting shot in middle class neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, rich neighborhoods, black neighborhoods, white neighborhoods, but too many of my colleagues are more concerned about what the NRA and the gun lobby thinks than they are about the people that they represent, no matter what color they are. But our community has been dealing with it longer than everybody else, but we've reached a point in time where everybody's dealing with it. The time to pass responsible gun laws is now. And moreover, we talk about the social determinants of everything else. We need to realize there are social determinants of violence. And when you deny people basic needs like access to decent health care, access to an opportunity to have gainful employment, access to fairly funded schools. And then you mix in that toxic mix all the weapons you can get, you're going to have death. And let's be real. Poverty and despair is positively correlated with murder, particularly when you got plenty of guns. And so, the economy's not doing well right now, but there's still plenty of guns. Kids don't have no school to go to, but there's still plenty of guns.
Damn. Can't get food.
People have food insecurity, but they got plenty of guns. It is not a shock that people are shooting one another. It is highly expected and anticipated given the circumstances. And so yes, there's an element of personal responsibility. And I'm going to always march, go to meetings, and talk with people who want to help organize in communities. But let us not think that this is merely personal responsibility for people in neighborhoods. This is the failure of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and my colleagues in the State House and the State Senate to act and pass laws, responsible gun laws, and the resources that are needed to allow us to deal with all the other social determinants of violence. When we do that, we're going to have a better chance of dealing with some of this. And by the way, for all my NRA owners, we don't even pass the laws that NRA owners support. The reporting of lost and stolen handguns. We have people that routinely go out and buy guns in mass. They bring them into the city and then illegally sell them. Police officers know who's illegally selling them, but they say they got them, they were lost and they were stolen, and they didn't report it because they didn't bother to think about it, which everybody knows is a BS excuse. We should give law enforcement the ability to prosecute people who are straw purchasers of guns. We should pass we should pass legislation requiring the reporting of lost and stolen handguns. My colleague Senator Tartaglione has been introducing it for years. I'm a co-sponsor. There's no reason that we can't do that. That doesn't affect not one hunter or any sportsman, because they're going to tell you if their gun is lost or stolen. That's the first thing they're going to do. They value their guns. Only people not reporting lost and stolen guns are people who didn't lose or have them stolen. People who gave them to somebody ought not have them.
That's right.
So let's be clear. We talk about responsible gun laws. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going after. That doesn't mean we're going after sportsmen. What it means is we have failed to do even the most basic things. We don't have background checks in any real meaningful way. People can get guns without a background check because we can go to a gun show. So I can go to the store, buy a bunch of guns, take them down, set up a table, call it a gun show, and sell it without background checks. It is ludicrous and absurd. Our rule in Pennsylvania around transporting guns, if you don't have a permit, is you gotta take the bullets out the gun and put it in your trunk. Come on. And then so people go to the store, buy the guns, take the bullets out, put it in their trunk, drive off the parking lot and put them back in. That's what happens. These laws are absurd. We don't even give the proper tools to law enforcement. And so for all those colleagues who call themselves conservatives and say they support law enforcement, they don't give them tools. And one other thing, we don't even ban bullets for armor-piercing bullets that are on the street called cop-killer bullets. How can you be a conservative and say that you support law enforcement and you allow people to sell bullets whose only purpose is to shoot police officers? Because don't nobody else got body armor. We don't even outlaw cop-killer bullets. It's absurd, it's ridiculous, it's disrespectful. And we will never fully get our hands around this problem until the General Assembly starts to act responsibly. And the people of Pennsylvania, this is an election year. Hold folks accountable, make them do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. So we will take questions in just one moment, but I want to be real clear about the two most important things that you can do in the next month to try to bring down violence. First thing is wear a mask, and the second thing is vote. Because here's the truth. The truth is, if you want some laws that are going to regulate guns the way we regulate cars all the time, then you're going to need some new people in office.
Thank you.
And if you want to have a city where they're not closing every rec center, They haven't shut down every summer job program. They're not gutting the funding for education for young people. If you want a city where there is economic opportunity, then you need a federal government that is going to bail out big cities. We are standing here today with a president who wants to bail out the hotel industry. I wonder why. Wants to bail out cruise ships. I wonder why. They are all too big to fail. But guess what is not too big to fail to this president? Cities. Democratic cities, diverse cities, cities where black and brown people live, they can all fail. In fact, we have a Republican member of Congress saying, and I quote, "Let them go bankrupt." Well, that is a decision to say violence is okay, coming out of the mouth of someone who claims he's against lawlessness. Oh, I don't think so. You want to do something about violence for real, vote. You get out there and vote. You make sure your left foot goes to the polls. You make sure your right foot goes to the polls. You make sure every other foot you know goes to the polls.
Tighten up and vote.
You vote. All right. Are there any questions?
I have one.
Yes, sir.